So, dear listener, you are just in time for another episode of the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Shauna.
And in our last episode, we talked about celebrity feuds. So we're hitting you with an Uno reverse for this one. And we're talking about our favorite celebrity besties, the duos that we cannot get enough of, just like Shauna and I, your favorite celebrity besties.
Obviously.
But before we dive into the friendships that make pop culture, we need to talk about the Patreon. We think that aside from, Shauna and I being besties, that our Patreon listeners are truly our besties. So we do have a Patreon. You can choose to express just how much you like us. At the casual fan level of $1 a month, we'll give you a special shout out on an episode of the show. And at the obsessed fan level of $5 a month, you'll get access to our uncensored video version of the podcast up to a week early, which is an unbeatable value.
Yes, it is.
So, Shauna, before we dive into celebrity friendships, I wanted to pick your brain. What makes a good friendship to you?
You mean just like in general?
Yeah.
Oh,
What makes an iconic bestie duo?
You're hitting me with the deep shit today. I literally sent you a Snapchat today of what I thought makes a good friend, which is so funny. So, and I said in my Snapchat from earlier that a really true friend sees the best in you and that they, in their heart, know that you're a good person, they believe in you, and they always know that you have their back too. So your friend is always going to see the best in you, know that you have good intentions, and if you get into a disagreement, just work it out, talk it over. But you're always going to have each other's backs, I think, is what makes a good friend. Yeah,
I also think like celebrating each other's wins is a big piece of that. Like you're kind of always that person's biggest supporter, or you're always rooting them on. When you're not in a room, they're talking positively about you and really just making those positive friendships or
there's
positive
not a competition.
Energy.
Exactly. Yes. Like if I see something amazing happen to you, I'm not going to be like, oh man, Olivia got to move away and got a raise. No, I'm like bragging to everyone, Olivia got to move away and she's having like this wonderful apartment and like, you know what I mean? So it's, I totally agree with that. You hype each other up behind each other's backs and to each other's faces.
Yes, absolutely. And, there are so many iconic celebrity friendships over the years that we've seen, across female and male friendships. When I think of iconic celebrity friends, I think of people like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. We have Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. We have Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. We talked about her last week. She was also in an iconic feud. We have Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart,
I love that so much. I also love that some of the people that we're saying from their famous friendships also are in famous feuds, like Taylor Swift. But I mean, I guess that happens. You're going to have your besties and you're going to have your enemies.
Love and hate is a thin line,
There it is.
You love good, you hate good.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know if they say that, but,
You know what they say, when you put a sandwich together on the streets, you gotta put the mustard on the bun. You know what I'm saying? That's what people have been saying.
That's what the people are saying. I'm surprised that we didn't get a newsboy transatlantic accent from that.
When you put the mustard on the bun in the middle of the street. God damn it.
And that's true friendship. Making your friend say everything in a newsboy.
Yes. And knowing how to make each other laugh. That's absolutely good friendship. Brad Pitt and George Clooney are a classic friendship pairing. You put this one on the list, and I guess Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid. Are they best friends?
Yeah, they're really good friends. They're kind of iconic together. They're model besties,
Oh my God,
beautiful.
That's like us.
Yeah. I mean, twins.
Twins. It's basically us walking the runway together and not eating.
Yeah, this one's for Nicole, Jennifer Aniston, and Courteney Cox, ultimately,
I do love that the whole Friends cast is still like friends. It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think? I don't know. I feel like it's so hard, and there is that classic trope in Hollywood that marriages never last. Why do you think some celebrity friendships last so long?
When I think about celebrity friendships and what we know about celebrity friendships, a lot of the time in publicity and celebrity PR, they always say that, 1 + 1 does not equal 2 a lot of the time. It really explodes you into a different level because you have two fandoms coming together and as well as two haters of different things. Like 1 + 1 is almost like 4 within any type of relationship, whether it's romantic, it's friendships, or it's, a negative relationship where you have feuds. And ultimately, I think that there is a financial reason to stay friends as well. And then I think there is this sort of trauma bond that happens between famous people where, especially if you're like an A-list celebrity, there are only so many people who can relate to the experience of celebrity and fandom and standom.
That's what I'm thinking too. It's like only a celebrity could also put up with you being followed around, right? Like Kendall and Gigi. I mean, you can't just be friends with Kendall Jenner and not be okay with, you're going to get photographed at brunch. You're going to get photographed at the mall. You can't just do normal shit like you and I just go thrifting and sit at the bar and have a beer, right? It's going to be next level. Like, you have to know what you're signing up for. And I do always like it when I see pictures and articles and stuff of celebrities who still have their friends from childhood.
Yep.
Hilary Duff posts a lot of pictures with just like a big gaggle of girls, and then I'll go to some of their profiles and they have like 1,000 followers, and I'm like, oh, that's just like her friend from like growing up, and I love to see that too. But again, I mean, that's Hilary Duff versus like Kendall Jenner like levels of fame, so it's like, I don't know. I would be curious to know how often really fucking famous people are just like, let me catch up with that girl from high school.
Yeah, I almost think of like, so shocker, we're talking about her, Taylor Swift. She is still really good friends with Abigail, who's the girl that she wrote 15 about.
Oh, cute.
And Abigail has become a like Swiftie celebrity in her own right. And there are certain types of people who are chasing that. But I can only imagine, like, as a plebe, as a regular person who only wants to be a regular person, that would be incredibly hard, where, like, people are even trying to get close to this regular person because they could eventually one day get close to
I could
that
see
celebrity.
That being very frustrating. Or they're just like, you think you're making a new friend, like, so what's Taylor like? And you're like, oh, you even like me, do you?
Yes. Yeah. So I think that among those friendships, there's a level of knowing and like shared experience and kind of like similar stakes, right? Like, oh, I would love to go to dinner with you, but I have to bring my 6 bodyguards. Or if you want to post a picture with me, you have to meet with my publicist before and make sure you're not like saying the wrong thing. Oh, if you want to even be around me, you have to be perfectly clean on social media. You can't have a problematic past. Where I think there is this level of that. But at the same time, Hollywood is a very dog-eat-dog world. So I think that the reason that we gravitate to so many of these celebrity friendships as well is because when we see that like solidarity among people, we're like, oh, good, they're not like
they're just
fake,
like us.
hate each
they're
other.
Not, they're not all pieces of shit. My fave, Lady Gaga, has some of her old friends still from back before she was famous. One of her best friends, it's either Sonia or Sanja Durham, passed away from cancer years ago, and Gaga was just, I remember, so grief-stricken. And then she is still friends with Lady Starlight, who started touring with Gaga when she was first on like the New York club scene. It was like the Lady Gaga, Lady Starlight review. Like, it was the two of them. Cute. And so they're still friends. So I do like to see that. But I agree, you got to know what you're signing up for when you're friends with a celebrity. Which is what we tell our friends all the time.
Yeah,
you guys got to be prepared for us.
We'll send you the brief.
Right. We're going to be stopped in the streets. I hope that's okay. Oh, that's just because we're obnoxious in public? Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, got it. We talked a little bit about celebrity duos that are most commonly known or talked about in the zeitgeist in the world. But Shauna, I want to know the celebrity duos that captivate you the most, the ones that you find yourself thinking about and thinking rich people goals.
Who do I think about when I lay in bed at night?
That's a different question.
Oprah. So
Let's unpack that. Let's
go through this a little bit. Oprah is goals and part of one of the most iconic friendships, I think, in entertainment. And that is Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King. Their friendship has spanned nearly 5 decades. So their friendship began in 1976 when they were both working at the WJZ TV station in Baltimore. Oprah was a 22-year-old news anchor and Gayle was the 21-year-old production assistant. There was a snowstorm in Baltimore and Oprah offered Gayle a place to stay at her apartment and they just stayed up all night chatting and became best friends. Are you kidding me?
Cute.
Love that. Their friendship was just unshakable and still is. Gayle was on the Oprah show all of the time. Just literally, here's my best friend Gayle. Oprah had a magazine called which ran from 2000 to 2020, and Gayle was an editor. And Oprah has said that Gayle is the person who knows her best and is referred to as the mother I never had, the sister everybody would want, the friend everybody deserves. And like any good girl-on-girl friendship, and I guess boy-on-boy friendship, any good friendship ever, people have always speculated that they might be more than friends.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's not a celebrity female friendship unless they say, are you two scissoring?
Are you guys like gay?
Are you like scissoring?
Are you scissoring? You know, people never say that about Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, do they? Do they?
Yeah, there are a lot of gay rumors about them.
Are there? Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're scissoring. I don't know if that's the mechanics of it.
I don't think that's what gay guys do.
I don't think they scissor.
I don't think they scissor. Just bump.
Butt to butt.
Butt to butt. Ass to ass. That is such a dark part of the movie, and I quote it all of the time. Anyway.
I mean, how can you not? Requiem for a Dream.
Thank you. Yes. Terrible, horrible, wonderful movie. Anyway, Oprah and Gayle. Oprah has been with Stedman for decades, and Gayle King might be married now. His name is William Bumpus, which is a cool name. That's a cool fucking... Oh, never mind. They were married for 1 year.
Oh.
I don't think
that didn't help the gay rumors.
No. They were married for 1 year. I don't think she's married anymore.
Well, yeah. Gayle Bumpus.
Gayle Bumpus is a sick fucking name. And then the next Google result is, are Oprah and Gayle in a relationship? A friendship one. But yeah, I love them. I think that Oprah is one of the most famous people on the entire planet. And for her to have a female friendship that has lasted 5 decades, where they support each other privately, publicly, vacations, all of that stuff, support each other. It's like you mentioned earlier, always rooting for each other. That'd be like if I had Shauna magazine and you were an editor. You had like Olivia magazine and I was the editor. Like, I love that. So
absolutely.
Oprah and Gayle.
We could even keep it as Omex.
We could.
You know?
We could call it So Magazine, like Shauna and Olivia.
Ooh.
So
branding. Let's do it. We're starting a magazine. We're channeling Oprah and Gayle in this one. So I think when I think back to my most iconic celebrity friendship, one I would want to be a part of, a third wheel, I would want to be either of them. I really think of Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore.
Yes, I love them.
Their friendship has spanned since Drew Barrymore was 14. Cameron Diaz was 16. They actually met. I didn't know
it was that long. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, they're adorable. So they met in a coffee shop that Diaz was working in. She was a model at the time. She hadn't gotten picked up in anything really famous, and she was mainly trying to be a model. It was like a coffee soda shop thing.
How cute.
And Drew Barrymore, when she wasn't clubbing at 14, was
right. Jesus
going
Christ.
to this coffee shop. And
read her autobiography, by the way, Little Girl Lost.
I haven't read that
called.
one.
It's insane. Like,
it's kind of interesting. So I don't know if she's retracted this. She has said that she doesn't want people to read that anymore because, yeah, she was in such like a dark place and it wasn't like authentic or true. And she was really kind of like covering up what was really going on with her back then. So, but I mean, if you've already read it,
release an updated book. I read it in like high school. I think I wrote a book report on it. Like,
that's some dark subject matter. But if you are unfamiliar, Drew Barrymore was going through addiction. Her mother was taking her clubbing. She was doing a lot of things that a 14, or even younger than that, than an 8-year-old like to a 14-year-old should not be doing. And so she was kind of in this dark night of the soul. Her and Cameron Diaz were friends throughout this. Drew Barrymore kind of went out of the spotlight, went to rehab, tried to fix herself. Cameron Diaz became super famous in The Mask in 1994, and Drew Barrymore came back as like Poison Ivy in 1992. They met in the 80s, early 80s, made this return to film in the 90s, and were both seen as these kind of darlings of film and cinema. We were really introduced to them as this iconic duo in Charlie's Angels.
With Lucy Liu, yeah.
Yes, you've probably seen that iconic photo of Drew in the leather pants holding the bottle of champagne. Their tour bus actually broke down on the way to the premiere. And so they just get out of the car and bring the alcohol with them and walk to the premiere. And that's where that photo is from. That sounds like me and
you, honestly.
Yeah, like Scroa. Yeah, like, just walking down the street with it. So Drew Barrymore produced Charlie's Angels, and ultimately their friendship continued through those movies and has continued.
How cute.
They stayed really close when, forgot about this, Drew Barrymore was married to Tom Green for also 1 year.
Oh, that's right. He was in Charlie's Angels. The Chad was great. The Chad was great. She's like,
yes.
How was the Chad?
Yes. God. And, you know, there were some ups and downs, mainly down being marrying Tom Green.
We all make choices.
They've remained private friends, public friends. They have really kind of made a return recently to embracing their friendship and really talking about each other. They have some adorable Instagram posts about how much they love each other. So definitely check out their Instagram for that.
How cute. I didn't know that they had known each other for that long. That's adorable.
Yeah, so they met when Drew was super down. She was still famous, but Diaz was not a household name. But it's a beautiful friendship. And, you know, Drew Barrymore, unfortunately, was a scab this past year. But I do love her. I think she's been through a lot.
I like her a lot, too. I'll cut her some slack. I think she seems like she means well. She seems like she has a really big heart.
Mm-hmm. Apparently not for union workers, but
no, not for union.
I digress.
For anyone that
stops at unions,
anyone who's sitting on the sofa, she's like wants to like crawl into their lap and like lick their face and like, can I keep you in my walls? Yeah,
so literally, so funny. So yeah, I think that's my most iconic.
I love that. We're talking about female friendships, but I think that's just because we love each other so much. There are a lot of amazing male friendships out there, obviously, too. And I think there should be more men who express their love for the other men in a friendship manner and without making it, I don't know. Guys are always so weird about expressing that they like each other. It's like you ask my husband who is best friend, and he's just like, I don't know. What? Who? Yeah, I guess he's okay. That man that you've known for 30 years is okay? All right. I digress. Female friendships is where it's at. This one is sad, but I think it is amazing and iconic and beautiful. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Shannon Doherty. So they shared a close friendship that began in the late 1990s and early 2000s during both of their peak television fame, and it continued up until Shannen Doherty's death last year. So here's a little breakdown. So Sarah and Shannen were both in TV in the 1990s. Sarah obviously was Buffy, my favorite, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Shannen was Prue Hollowell on Charmed. So they were both kind of in that fantasy witch and slayer type television series.
Both on the WB.
They were both on the WB, exactly. So they both shared a connection, shared experiences. Young actresses on the WB, kind of met through those cast things. So throughout their careers, they have been absolutely inseparable. Selma Blair is part of that friendship trio as well. Their pictures on Instagram were always so adorable. I remember one with the three of them doing that trend where it's like, you and I should try this sometime. I'm surprised we haven't. One person sits like between another person's legs, like almost in their lap, and puts a champagne glass in their mouth and tips it back and tries to get the champagne in the other girl's mouth. Anyway, it always ends in disaster.
You're trying to give me a shower? What t-shirt contest?
A little golden shower.
Okay, not that.
Oh God, I meant Pinot Noir. Oh God. Anyway, these two queens have gone on vacations together. They shared a mutual love of cooking and entertaining, personal life milestones. Support each other through babies and weddings. Shannen Doherty was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. She went into remission, but unfortunately, it returned as stage 4 in 2020. Sarah Michelle Gellar publicly supported Doherty on social media all the time throughout her struggle, was always visiting her, always posting pictures about her. Tragically, Shannen did pass away in July 2024. Since then, Sarah Michelle Gellar has posted a lot of tributes to her friend Shannen, highlighting their friendship over the past 3 decades. She praised her strength, resilience, and fighting spirit throughout her battle of cancer. So, very sad, ended, short, I don't know, that just breaks my heart. I can't imagine losing your best friend of 30 years like that. So, heart goes out to Sarah Michelle Gellar, and that is a beautiful friendship that she should always celebrate and hold close.
I would do anything to be besties with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh my God, right. I know. And I know her and Selma Blair are still friends. Selma I liked her so much, and she's definitely made some weird comments in the last year about Islam and just, I don't know, she has some interesting public statements that she's made.
Yeah, she's also going
public,
through.
Yeah,
she's also going through MS. So
yes, she is going through a huge, health crisis that I could never imagine either. So, but yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar hanging on to her girlfriends and her husband. Listen, she has also been with her husband Freddie Prinze Jr. for decades. So my girl doesn't just love him and ditch him; she holds on to that.
Will stop believing in love if they ever get a divorce.
Oh my God. No, if they get a divorce, I'm getting a divorce. It's going to happen.
Sarah Michelle Gellar said I had to. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I don't believe in love anymore.
I have to end this. I'm just kidding, babe. I'm just kidding.
He's not listening. He already said
he's not listening. He's playing Marvel Rivals right now with his headphones on too. I'm sure he's not.
So I think that this friendship, it really is a testament to the shared trauma bond of it all that happens as well. So the next friendship that I really, really love and started at a very young age as well is Sophie Turner and Maisie Williams.
Oh yeah, they're so cute. Are they still friends?
Yes, they are. So they are Sansa and Arya within the Game of Thrones. They both were in the North for a lot of the early seasons as well. I mean, Sansa, spoiler alert for a show that ended and was widely talked about, but Sansa eventually goes to King's Landing. But a lot of the first season, they are together, and they were incredibly young when they first started the show. Their characters are very young, and so they became really good friends instantly. Maisie Williams is quoted kind of in that early audition process and says, like, even if I don't get the part, I really want that girl to be my friend. She's really cool.
So cute.
Right. And Sophie has been quoted saying, like, Maisie was special. We just got on like that. They were super, super close and spent a lot of time together. The show filmed for an incredibly long time, went on for an even longer time. In their premieres, I think their carpool karaoke is one of the funniest things in the world.
It's so cute.
When Sansa's like pretending to be Ned Stark. It cracks me up. It cracks me up so much.
On the show, it's so serious and the stakes are so dire, and both of them are going through like horrific trauma and watching their dad's head got cut off. And then behind the scenes, they're so unserious. That's what I love about that cast so much, is like all of the behind the scenes, they just switch immediately to being like big goofballs, like every single one of them. So I love it. I love all the behind the scenes. Like you feel like you have to when like the subject matter is so heavy. Like, can we please be silly now?
Yeah, and you know, Game of Thrones is kind of especially that part of the story of Game of Thrones. You know, House of Dragon is a little bit better, but it is very brutal to women.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So I can't imagine being like 15 and working through that subject material and then trying to portray it. You know, like Sansa especially just gets like brutalized throughout that whole show. Like Arya has.
She becomes kind of a little badass and like a warrior, and Sansa's just like, here's this terrible man to marry. Oh, okay, here's this new terrible man to marry. Oh, I mean, Tyrion, he was chill.
But you know. So the subject matter, just the difficulty of being away, really bonded them. In 2016, they got matching tattoos commemorating the date they learned that they had been cast. So it's 0809 is the date that they got tattooed. So 789. And they did the iconic carpool karaoke during the last season. Whenever Sophie Turner got married to Joe Jonas, she was a bridesmaid.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Well, he's still alive, but their relationship isn't. I think Sophie Turner is just so funny and so iconic. Like that video of her at the hockey game where she chugs the glass of wine and then like dabs. That was back when dabbing was big.
Oh my God, let's bring back dabbing, please.
Yeah.
She's just so unserious. I love any celebrity like that who can just be like, I don't know. I already said this. Just be a goofball. Just be at least a silly goober. Be a silly goober, please. Oh, that's all I need in this world.
After you listen to this episode, watch their carpool karaoke. It's absolutely hilarious.
Get a little smile on your face.
They publicly support each other. They always talk about how they will always be close and they're each other's soulmates and just really had that mutual growth. I have a lot of friends that I've had since a very young age. I know you have as well. I'm sensing a theme here. I picked two friendships that started at very young ages. I think there's something so beautiful about changing completely as a person. I hope you've changed completely as a person since you were 16.
Oh no, I'm exactly the same as I was. Purity rings and Bibles.
Oh God. But you know, so I think there's something beautiful with changing as a person and those friendships like evolving and growing and sticking with somebody
through every stage of your life. Like I have friends who have literally seen me through tragedy, through like triumph, through my wedding, through them getting married and divorces and babies and moving. I've had friends who have moved across the country and then come back, and then it's just those are the ones that really stand the test of time. But then also there's those friends that you make in your 20s who are like with you through that like transformative time where you're like, you finally are starting to kind of feel like a grown up, like when you and I met, you know? I have one more friendship that I'm going to shout out. I'm not going to go into details, but I know you have one more too. But I got to give some love to Steve Martin and Martin Short. They're so cute.
Love them.
Oh my God.
And I love that Martin Short and Meryl Streep are dating now.
Oh my God, right. It's amazing. Do you watch Only Murders in the Building? I don't remember if we
No, I still need to, but they just won a SAG award.
SAG. Yeah. I loved it. You should watch it. It's hilarious. And they are both adorable on it. But yeah, that's my little final shout out.
I think that they're cute. They're adorable. We love a long-lasting straight man friendship. I'm also going to throw a male friendship into the mix. Mm-hmm. Not straight, but we have Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen.
Oh my God, I love them.
If you didn't know, it was actually intended to be a romantic relationship. Someone tried to set them up on a blind date way back when, but timing never worked. Anderson Cooper, obviously flying around the world, being a news anchor. And so their romantic connection never prospered, but they ultimately became really good friends. They are hilarious.
So funny. I love it when they let them drink on New Year's. Like, let these, and then all the fans every year are like, let these men drink for the love of God.
Let these men drink. Well, Andy Cohen was definitely doing more than drinking in 2020, and that's why they didn't let him drink in 2021. You could see some of his,
itchy nose. He powdered his nose in the bathroom a little too much.
Yeah, and so that was why they had to cut him off. But no, I think that Andy Cohen, he's such a silly, goofy guy as well, and like he's on Watch What Happens Live, and like his whole brand is getting people to crack, getting drunk, like saying crazy things.
And then Anderson Cooper is so straight laced and like kind of serious. It's perfect.
And he just messes with him like the whole time. So he brings a real humanness to Anderson Cooper as well. So I really love their friendship. I think they're silly. And then now they're both dads and, moving into that life. So you would never put them together. But when you do, it's kind of hilarious and funny. And, you know.
I love those like opposites attract kind of thing. Like it's Snoop and Martha. I think it's perfect. And then you have bitches like us who everyone's like, are you guys sisters?
Nope, just annoying in the same way. So, Shauna, what have you been up to?
Oh, God. Working. Valentine's Day. Oh, my 10-year wedding anniversary. Ew. Oh, love. My 10-year wedding anniversary is this weekend. So.
Oh, cute. What are you guys going to do?
Thank you. We have dinner reservations at this place called Elvira's. How perfect is that?
It is.
Yeah, I've never been, but it's supposedly very delicious, fancy Mexican food in Scottsdale, Arizona. And then I think we're just going to spend the weekend together watching movies. We have been rewatching every single Star Wars movie. When I say we, I mean me and my husband, Andrew, dear listeners. So we had a little back and forth. We couldn't decide if we wanted to rewatch all of them in chronological order, like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or if we wanted to do release date order, which would be 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. So we ended up doing that. So we watched all three 1970s and 80s Star Wars. Okay. And then last night we watched Phantom Menace, which is, God, I watched this movie once before this, and it was in 1999 in a movie theater when I was 10 years old. And
I don't know if I'm familiar.
Oh, God, it's Anakin Skywalker, so it's the guy who grows up to be Darth Vader, but this is his origin story, so it's him as a little kid. There are some great spots in it, like Ewan McGregor plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's amazing. Darth Maul is great, but the graphics and like Jar Jar Binks, I wanted to end it all. Yeah, Misa wants to end my life watching this movie. Like, it was so bad.
I love that so much.
Yeah, so that's what we're up to. Watching Star Wars, enjoying our marriage. How about you?
Okay. So I was texting Shauna. I am now, by the end of tonight, I am on 13 books in this year.
I need to know all about this book that made you cry earlier. Oh my God, yes. Dear listener, she sends me this Snapchat of just tears just running down her face. Like, who hurt you? A book?
A book. No, I was like, oh God, I'm crying. And we recorded in like 45 minutes. Yeah. I had to redo all of my makeup.
You look amazing.
Had to pull myself up by my bootstraps. So it's called The 7-Year Slip. I have never read the author before. It is, let me see. It is by Ashley Poston. And it's actually like really, really cute. So it's a magical realism book. It's a romance book. I've been really into romance. I'm trying to trick myself into thinking I want a relationship right now. So
you really just want to get dicked down by a fairy, a guy who is covered in shadows.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm trying to read more real life romances.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to read more real life romances because I'm like, okay, I'm never going to find a 7-foot fae who's jacked out of his mind and only wants me for me because I'm mean to him. Like that's just not gonna happen in the real world. So I need a grumpy sunshine, aka I'm the grumpy, they're the sunshine, and exists in some sort of world. So it's magical realism where it's our world, but there is like a light element of magic within it.
Okay,
and in this book specifically, it is called The 7-Year Slip, and it's this woman who is dealing with her aunt who passed away. She inherits this apartment, and this apartment is magic, and it basically sends her back 7 years in time. And so it's called The 7-Year Slip, and it's absolutely beautiful. I was crying my eyes out because the aunt unalives herself, and I've talked about it before. My aunt did that, and it's very similar to my aunt. So I was like,
oh my god,
ugly crying. But it is beautiful. I started it last night. I'm almost done.
Jesus, of course you are.
I am.
Do you sleep?
I do sleep, but I'm alone in a new city. I don't have a relationship. Like I have so much time.
Yeah, that's fair.
In like people in my life who are like married and have children, they're like, how do you read so much? And I was like, because I don't have person or a little person to take care of.
I'll come be your little person to take care of.
You can be my little person. You can be my little person. Anytime, honey.
Thanks, mommy.
Yes. So I've just been reading with a ferocity, but it's really, really good. I've read, I think this will be my 7th book in February. So I've been like crazy in February. I've been reading a lot of Emily Henry, which is like very low stakes, real life romance book.
Okay.
And just absolutely loving it. However, I also watched the first 2 episodes of White Lotus. So good. You need to watch it.
Is it good this season?
Yes.
I haven't even watched season 2.
They change. You don't have to. They're all separate.
Yeah.
So the intro song, they changed it. I'm pissed about it.
I did see a lot of people on social media were upset that they changed the song. I don't know why they would do that.
It's iconic. Everybody loves it. They didn't change it for season 2. I don't know why they changed it for season 3.
If you have a theme song like that, it's like Game of Thrones. They ran with the theme song even into House of the Dragon. They're like, oh, you want this banger back?
Winner,
bam!
Peter
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't have changed it. No. So that's kind of annoying. I am really liking the season. My mom called me yesterday and was like, have you watched White Lotus yet? So even my mom is in on it. She's like, hell yeah, this is so good.
I got to get in on it. I got to start.
Would pop 7-Year Slip and White Lotus.
And I'm going to pop Star Wars in general. And Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay because it is back for a new season and we love that show.
Yeah, revisit the fanfic episode to know just how much we like Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, God, he's so angry and thick.
His lamb sauce.
His lamb sauce.
Give us some of that lamb sauce,
Baste
Gordon.
me in your lamb sauce. On that note...
Shauna, what's the best way for our future best friends to find us?
First of all, no new friends. But you can follow me. Just kidding.
Only Patreon subscribers.
Literally. Patreon subscribers, y'all can be my friend. I don't do this shit for free. I mean, I do it for free. You can find me on social media, though. At Shauna Trinidad, ShaunaTrinidad, and that will be Instagram and Threads.
And you can find me, Olivia, on Instagram at Livy Maries, LIVIMARIEZ. And as always, you can find the Pop Culture Junkie podcast social media links, blog posts, and more on our website, popculturejunkie.com. From there, you can find our podcast on all platforms, and you can follow, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Tell us how you really feel nicely. If you don't like us, just bye.
Please don't tell me.
Please don't tell me. I've had enough horrors in the year of 2025. And please join our Patreon because every subscriber helps us bring you more of the best pop culture. You can find us at patreon.com/popculturejunkiepodcast. You might be able to see Shauna's unmentionables at the beginning of this episode.
No, our producer noticed I had a song in the corner of my room. I should just left it back there. I should just left it.
It was an Easter egg.
It was
an Easter egg.
See if you could. There's a thong hidden in the background of every Pop Culture Junkie episode. You guys see if you could find it.
So if you want to see Shauna's unmentionables and plenty of other unmentionables, sign up for a sneak peek or get a super special shout out from us. Say that 5 times fast. Really hard. Come back next time for another hit of pop culture.
The Pop Culture Junkie podcast is produced by Jeff Markin and Cheryl Lightfoot for the Pop Culture Entertainment Network.
So entertain me, entertain me.